Everyone, Paul here. Today I'm going to be making a video on I've tackled both options with doing it with Robinhood here and doing Forex, and today I kind of want to figure out the focus of this video is doing it with the S&P 500 because I tend to know the pattern of the S&P 500 better than all the other stuff. But what I want to kind of figure out is which is the better option to be making, and I'm going to have a goal here of this video of like making 500 a week. So versus doing contracts and trading SPY with Robinhood and trying to make 500 a week versus doing it on Forex and doing SPX and trying to make 500 a week doing it that way. What are the numbers and what do you need and which is easier to accomplish? So today I'm going to be kind of going over which one of these methods will probably get you to that number faster. Now, obviously, if you're making 500 a week, you're basically making $100 a day for 5 days a week, which is pretty much, it would replace a lot of people's main jobs. It's a pretty average salary for a lot of people. Just to make, because go and you make about $100. A lot of people average about $100 a day. But this isn't really for those that have, higher income goals. These are for a lot of people that are just working regular jobs. To making 500 a week is a pretty average number. So I'm going to be looking at doing this with SPY, and then we're going to be looking at doing this with the SPX and trading on Forex and seeing how to get to these numbers and which is the more realistic winner in this scenario. Okay, so first off with SPY here, what you want to aim for when trading SPY, and I go over different strategies on this channel, but you basically, to make $500, you basically have to find, I believe it's about a $5 difference in price. So to accomplish this, I would really look on the hour here, and I would try to find the moments on the hour. I try to focus on doing this on a day, and I don't want to hold my trades as long as possible. Because if you could find this on that day and do this every day, well, you would have to average 100 a day. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be trying to try to find 500. So if you're doing this on a daily, and we'll look at numbers on the option contracts, but you want to aim for a $5 difference in price. If you don't make that in a day, you need to shoot for at least 100. Now, if you shoot for 100, you're going to want to do that five times in the week. But if you do manage to find a $5 difference in price, that's about $500. So if we look here and I go over all these strategies, I'm not really going to go over any kind of trading right now. I just want to show you, if you go from here to, this was the last time before. Now this last ride here, the last 6 hours of the market was a 4.33. So this is actually about a $433 move right here. So this would be meeting the numbers that I'm talking about in this video. So let's look at Robinhood real quick. Okay, so for the sake of this video, we're going to be focusing on SPY. And one thing that I do when I'm looking at doing options is, I'll stretch out my contracts not that far, maybe a day or two, just to kind of like protect the contract. But I don't do anything more than like the second option over. And what I focus on is in the money. Well, I try to find the best deal here. So let's just see. I think predicting that it's going to go up here. So we'd be getting closer to one of these One thing you want to focus on is getting this line as close to the dot as possible. So that's what I look for. So they all have different prices, they all have different ranges. So for right now, it's very cheap. Well, let's just give it an example. I try to get close to the dot as possible. And I guess everybody's just predicting it's going to go down. Yeah, I guess everybody's predicting. That's why the calls are cheaper, because I guess everybody's predicting it's going to go down. So let's be more realistic on the prices, and let's look here. So I would try to get as close to the dot as well. Let's just go closer here. That's April 2nd, so that's tomorrow. So you'd be buying a day contract. So basically you would be buying a day contract and saying it's going to go down. So it might work out better to make shorter terms for your contracts if you feel really good on the trade. But let's just say a shot for this one right here. You want to get as close. Let's just do this one. See, well, let's do the next one over. Let's do this one. Now they're usually not this expensive. The whole reason why the prices are cheap right now, or expensive right now, is because it's coming off of a holiday weekend and we don't know what direction it's going. So let's just say, for the sake of this video, we pick this one here. But when I normally look at this, I try to get as close to this as possible. Usually I can find it when it's close to this dot. You know, the closer to the dot as possible, that's the contract I would buy. But anyway, to make 500, you would have to go from 523 to, let's just go 523. You know, 523, you got to go down by 5. You got to shoot for a 518. So you got to shoot for a 518 here, which is right about, yeah, so right about here. So you got to shoot for a $5 difference in price. So when you're doing your trades here, you want to get, when you're doing your trades on Robinhood and you're doing contracts and you want to make 500 a week, yeah, you got to be pretty good with your trading, and you want to shoot for a $5 difference in price. If you can manage to get a $5 difference in price, you'll make 500 a week. If you want to make $100 a day, you got to shoot for $1 difference in price. If you want to do this on a daily, you have to get at least $1 difference in price every single trade, five days a week, or you gotta find that one good trade that will be a $5 difference in price, and that will give you 500 a week. Now, once you start getting these gains, you can then scale it up, and you can start compounding, because once, you know, typically the contracts cost about $700. So every time you make another $700, you can buy another contract. This will cause everything to start going faster. So then you'll make 500 a week, then 1,000 a week, 1,500 a week. Get the idea. So you can really compound with this strategy, but the goal of this video is to try and find 500 a week. So we want to see if that's doable, because all we want to look for is a $5 difference in price. You don't necessarily have to find that per day, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to try and find a $5 difference in price. We saw this one already, so now we could tell with the SP 500 that generally the pattern of it is going up. So what I look for is patterns, and then just go to my channel here. I talk about a lot of strategies on trading, but you want to look for a $5 difference in price. So what I do, you see multiple scenarios here where you can enter. Right here, you see, now I'm going to be going over these indicators in the next couple of videos, so not going to talk about today, but just stay tuned. I'm going to talk about these in upcoming videos. But right here, you see the green line going through. That's this middle section right here. You see this green line going through. So this is the entry point. So if we rode this out, this right here is 5 hours. This is 5 hours, and you made a 4.36 move. So this is almost a $500 move. And then if you went for, let's see, we got to find good moments of getting in. So you got this trade right here, but how do you know to enter right here? You can't go by this one right here because there's nothing crossing. But you can look at this SMI, which I'll go over later. Zoom in really. Okay, you can kind of see that this is crossing right about here. So you can enter right here. And you can ride this out here to here. So this would also make you about 500 a week. If you rode this entire run here, which is 2 days, let's just do a day because we want to focus on doing it on days. Right here to here. This is a basically a $300 to $400 move right there. So let's just do a couple more and just see if we can actually meet that numbers of 500 a week. We see in the middle section here, you see it crossing up right here. So this would be a good entry point. So if you rode it from here to here, you could easily do that. So that's $554 in 4 hours. So you can make, if you really know how to read charts with doing it on Robinhood, you could really make 500 a week. Sometimes you could do that per day based off of certain charts. So making 500 a week is very doable when doing it on options. You just have to know how to trade, and you have to, fine tune. But let's real quickly learn here. Let's do SPX now, which is, you're doing this not on Robinhood anymore, but you're doing this on Forex. So the pros and cons to this is, the charts are the same, but you don't have to worry about expiration. So you could actually do this at the same time. You could go over to Robinhood. You can put in your orders, and you could do this on Forex, and you can put in your orders. It's the same thing, but the numbers to get to the numbers are different. In order to make, we want to figure out how to make 500 a week by trading SPX. So I already did that number in before making this video. You have to shoot for. These numbers might be wrong. Let's see. Hold on. I think it's. Let's see. 50. You have to shoot for a $500 difference in price. Because see, these are pips right here. So ignore the comma right there. These are the number of pips that you have to accomplish in order to get 500 a week. So if you remove the last two zeros there, that's 5. So if you times this by 0.01, you'd be making 500. So you have to shoot for a 50,000 pip. You have to shoot for 50,000 pips in order to make 500 a week. That's with doing it at a 0.01. Now, if you did this with a 0.10, now you have to be really. The more you scale it up, the more. Now you're not. If you did it at a 0.10, let's try to figure that one out here. Let's see. That was 50,000. So we want to divide. So this is what you need to do it at 0.01. So you want to divide that by 10. You'll need to shoot for a 50. Now, this is more realistic to do it this way, to put your lot size at 0.10. If you put your lot size at 0.10, you only have to shoot for a $50 difference in price to make 500 a week. So those are the numbers. you could either do it at 0.01, which is the bare minimum, but you have to get a 50,000. You have to get a 50,000 pip move within a week, or you could do at a 0.1 and you have to shoot for a 5,000 pip move. This seems more realistic. So we're going to look at those numbers. We're going to look at doing it on SPX. So it's the same thing. We'll look at some of the same numbers here. So I covered some of these before. These are the same exact trades. So if you came in right about here and rode this, I covered this when doing it with Robinhood, but you basically can find the same pattern and do it twice and get paid twice. You just have to get those certain numbers. So it's very doable right here. This move right here is a 5,000 pip move. And I was saying that you needed about 5,000 pips in order to make 500 a week. If your lot size is a 0.10, if your lot size is a 0.10, you need about 5,000 pips. So this would get you 500 if you did a 0.10. If this would not get you this would get you probably $50 if you did it at a 0.01. So let's look at some other examples here. Now I want to focus on the trend going up. So let's look real quickly. Now the advantage here to doing it with Forex is you don't have to worry about expiration. But what I would do really is I would do my options, and I would do this at the same time. So if I cut my options on Robinhood, I'll cut my options on Forex too. I would do the both at the same time. So what we want to look for, let's see how much this one is. So you see right here, you see it crossing on the 0 line right here. So this would be a good entry point right here. If you rode this out. Now we already made it right. We made it right here. If you did it at a 0.1, you made it. But let's write it out further. But this is a day, so me personally, I wouldn't continue. But let's just ride this out, see what happens. Okay, so this is this is a 9,000 pip move. So realistically, if you want to make 500 a week, you would have to do your lot size at least 0.1. It's going to be very hard to get to those numbers doing it at a 0.01, which is the bare minimum. It's going to be very hard to get to those numbers because if you did this at a 0.01, you would have made, I think, you would have made $100. But if you did this move here at a 0.1, it's 9862. 9862 at a 0.1, you would have made $1,000 right here. So these numbers are, so basically you can go over to Robinhood and you can do your option contracts. And if you want to make the same amount of money statistically that Robinhood does when doing it on Forex, if you want to make $500 a week on options, you have to shoot for a $5 difference in price. If you want to make 500 doing it with Forex, you have to shoot it with a 0.1 realistically, and you set your lot size to 0.1 and you have to find a $5 difference in price with doing options. And that, if you can manage to do both of those, that would give you a $1,000 week income, pretty much, if you did both at the same time. So we got this little move right here. Let's ride this one out. Here to here, this is almost a 5,000 pip move. So these are the numbers to making 500 a week if you did your lot size at 0.1. Now, if you didn't do 0.1, you did 0.01, you would have made $45. Let's just do this a couple more times here. right about here where we see it crossing up. So we rode this out. Now realistically, you can find about a 5,000. You could find a 5,000 pip move pretty frequently on here. So my recommendation is to work your way up to doing at a 0.1 lot size, because that will give you the same numbers that you are when you're doing it with Robinhood. So at a 0.1 here, this would give you, let's see, let's just do the 5563. 5563 times 0.1. Yeah, that's doing it at a 0.1 will get you 500 a week. And focusing on, and we do it over here with SPY. To do the same numbers with SPY here, to get 500 a week doing SPY with option contracts, you have to shoot for a $5 difference in price. So those are the numbers that you need to make 500 a week doing it with options and 500 a week doing it with Forex. Now they both have pros and cons. If you're doing this over on Robinhood, you have an expiration. Typically, if you buy your contracts expiring the next day, you don't have a lot of time to reach those goals. But if you do reach those goals and you make a $5 difference in price, you will make 500. You can make 500 a week or a day. And if you do it on Robinhood, you can scale it up, because the more you make in the gains, the more contracts you can buy over time, the faster you can compound it. So that's dealing it with Robinhood. Dealing with Forex here, you would have to aim for a 0.1 lot size and aim for a 5,000 pip move in order to make 500 a week. The positive here to doing it on Forex is you don't have an expiration. But what I like doing is I'll focus on SPY, and I'll put the same trade in on both and end them both at the same time. So whether it's working for me or not, you can actually follow the chart on one asset and get paid twice for it. So it's very doable, especially if you get good at it. You can make 500 a week doing it with options, and then you can make 500 a week doing it with Forex. But in order for it to be doable on Forex, you have to have your lot size at 0.1. If you do it at 0.01, you'll make $50, but that's not a lot. But if you want to make the same amount that you would on Robinhood, you would have to aim for a 0.1. So you could actually, which is better, in my opinion. It seems a little bit easier to get to those goals if you do it on Robinhood, if you are very careful, but you do have an expiration. It just seems like you can get there faster doing it on Robinhood than you will with doing Forex, but they're both good. The positive here to doing it on Forex is there's no expiration. So that's up to you guys which method you want to do. Personally, it works both ways, because you're basically looking at the same chart and getting paid twice for it. So what I would do is I would fine-tune my skills to doing at a 0.1 on Forex, and then doing the same on Robinhood, and you'd be getting paid the same doing both, and you'd be getting paid twice. So you'd be getting paid 500. Hopefully, if you find a $5 difference in price, you'd be getting paid 500 if you find a $5 difference in price, and if you find the same doing it on Forex at a 0.1, you'd be getting paid the same doing it on Forex. So you could really start, doubling your money faster if you do them both at the same time. So anyway, that is up to you which option. I do both. I personally do both. And looking at these numbers, I'm personally shooting for a 0.10 when trading SPX on Forex, and shooting for a $5 difference in price when doing options with Robinhood. But anyway, if you guys like this video, this is not financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. This is all for entertainment purposes only. I'm not responsible for any profit or loss based off of the context of this video. Anyway, if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.